States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Grunsky is absent. Commissioner Singha.
Here.
Commissioner Milas.
Here.
Commissioner Roostaller.
Here.
And Commissioner Midgley.
Here. Okay, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion?
We have no minutes.
Oh, we don't have any minutes. Oh, okay. Never mind. Moving on. Okay, are there any withdrawals or any changes or additions?
We have several opposition letters that don't request a continuance, but did say that they would like to stop the hearing. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. It's within the notes for this evening packet. They've requested that these items be heard by the city when it's incorporated.
Okay. Explanation of the hearing? Is that, no, that's what I do. I'm sorry, I'm a little rattled because I couldn't get in tonight. The door was locked and I had to take the stairs. But anyway, okay. Items not on the consent calendar will be heard by the commission, and each public hearing item will allow the public participation at the end of the action taken by the commission. For public comments. Oh, I don't have my, this. The public is welcome to address the Planning Commission on items of interest to the public that are not listed on the agenda. Comments to the commission are limited to a maximum of 5 minutes or 250 words for comments provided via email to pcrecords@sjgov.org. Do we have anyone that has something to say that is not on the agenda? Okay, moving on. Action item, consent item. Consent items calendared for consent will be approved in one motion without a public hearing unless a member of the Planning Commission or the audience requests that the item be removed from the consent calendar and heard separately. Consent item number 1. Master Plan Amendment Number PA 240044, Specific Plan 1, Amendment Number PA 240045, Specific Plan 2, Amendment Number PA 240046, and Specific Plan 3, Amendment Number PA 240047 of San Joaquin County. This project consists of 4 separate applications, 1 proposed amendment to the Mountain House Master Plan, number PA 240044 MP, and second, the proposed amendment to the Mountain House Specific Plan, number PA 240045 SP, and 3, the proposed amendment to the Mountain House Specific Plan, number 2. Number PA 240046. I don't need to read all of these, do I? Okay. Do I have a motion? Or,
So moved. Second.
okay. Motion carried.
Through the Vice Chair, before you take a motion and take a vote, this is Kimberly Johnson to your right. Can we take see if there's any public comment on the consent calendar?
Oh, okay. Is there anyone from the public that would like to talk on the consent item? For or against, or?
Good evening. So I'm from Mountain House, and what Mountain House really wanted is we voted to become a city with the overwhelming majority. I urge the Planning Commission and County to honor the rights of the Mountain House residents and stop this approval process. And we request the Planning Commission to send the work back to the city when we become the city in July 1st. So actually the planning was done on 3/12 by the Mountain House, the supervisors, Board of Supervisors requesting to make these changes, amendments to this, after knowing that Mountain House is becoming a city, because we have an election on March 5th. So the decision was made on March 12th. So there was some kind of rush, some kind of urgency coming out of this election and Mountain House becoming a city. So we think we want to make our own decisions, and that is why we voted unanimously to become a city. So we request the Planning Commission to think before we approve that. So, and we will look into any legal actions if required. Thank you.
Anyone else?
And sir, if you would state your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is Vinod Kiramani. Good evening, council members. So 3 years back, I was sold with an idea telling that Mountain House is going to be a lavish community. But the master plan displayed all over by the developers to tell that what are the projects coming out here and what are the commercial properties and as well as all the other amenities going to be in the Mountain House. Now, it's just 3 years. What changed? Nothing changed. If at all we are talking 10 years from now, yes, whatever the decisions the planning commission is making, it makes sense. Within the last 3 years, I don't see any changes. The last house, the residents occupied probably a year back. Why this change? On what basis this change is made? We want to know more rather than just putting up a notice to say that we are rezoning. What is the basis? There is abundance of land in Mountain House which is already rezoned and already planned. Why are we rezoning this? That's my question. The next question, what is the basis? What is the report? What is the criteria? That's I want to request. The third thing is, as my fellow member just told, we voted to become a city. This application or whatever the approval process, it was after the election. So that means this is pushed on us. We don't want this to happen. We want to make our own decision because we are the residents who are going to be in that city and live in the city, and also it's not for us, it's for the future generation. Given that, Mountain House, I would say that as per the survey, 40 or 50% drive to Bay Area for work. We need commercial space and as well as the businesses to come and set up their offices in Mountain House or Tracy area. We don't want to be a bedroom community there. We have one lifeline to just go all the way on the 580. Imagine putting more residents and the city or the state not thinking of expanding the freeway or not having an alternative. What are we trying to do here? Either we are benefiting someone out here or we are taking the decisions which are not valid or consent or even not even bothered about the residents out there. This is my plea. I would request to stop the process and give it to us. We will take the decision because from the county perspective, it's all about the tax money. But as a mountain resident, I live there and I have to be in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Raj Reddy, a Mountain House resident. As you all heard, we are becoming a city. In few months, we will have our own governance body, and we have elected very knowledgeable and well-experienced people to the city. In fact, few of our council members are there since the inception of CST. It's been 15 years, and including our mayor is there since the inception of CST. We are not against any development happening in Mountain House. What we wanted to know, as a resident of Mountain House, we have seen city growing from master plan of 44,000 residents to 60,000 residents today. So that means we will have more traffic, more people coming in, more traffic. And I don't even know when was the last traffic study was conducted. Today the traffic in Mountain House is a mess. It takes 30 minutes or 40 minutes to get to 3 miles stretch onto the freeway. So just bringing in these 350 additional houses, just imagine what it is going to create. So already messed home. What we are requesting here is, this is all started after knowing Mountain House will become a city. What is this mad rush? Is there any agenda behind all these things? It is bringing more doubts than the questions. We as a residents are asking or requesting only one thing. Let the people of Mountain House make the decisions for the people of Mountain House. We are not doubting your abilities of making decisions. We want people who are close to us, people who are residents of Mountain House, who have seen all the ups, downs, bad times, good times, and the worst times. Let them make the decision for us. They know what is better for the city and its residents. Again, we request, sincere request with all of you is, let the people of Mountain House make the decisions for people of Mountain House. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could I wait a moment? Can I get some clarification? If this is a consent item and no one pulled it from the consent calendar, why are we having discussion on it?
You still have to take.
But if, in all fairness to those who have put this forward, they have a chance to speak as well. Is that correct?
If they want to come up for public comment, they most certainly can.
Okay, this is the first time since I've been on the commission that we've done it this way.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make a point.
Can I add a few?
Hi, good evening Planning Commission. My name is Surekha Shekhar and I'm a Mountain House resident. So this is the second time I'm coming for this rezoning hearing. We were here a couple of weeks ago. So we are seeing this back-to-back rush of the rezoning application. Like my other neighbors mentioned, the timing doesn't look right. We just completed the elections and all the residents of Mountain House have voted for Mountain House to become a city. Now, it is in the best interest of everyone that we let the residents of Mountain House, the elected leaders, make decision about the community development of Mountain House. We all have moved from different places in Bay Area to Mountain House to have a better life. But these decisions are not towards that, right? If I wanted to live in Tracy or somewhere else, I would have bought houses at much cheaper price. But we have paid good amount of money to be in Mountain House because we were planned that we will have a master planned community with well-balanced ecosystem, good schools, parks, recreation, everything. That is the vision we had when we came here. But by making these wrong decisions, we are making this a bed and bath community. And I want each of the Planning Commission members to please put yourself in our shoes. If you had paid money and lived in Mountain House, would you be okay with this rezoning decision? It's very important to live the life of the people, the residents, when you are making these decisions. Otherwise, we are not doing justice to what we are, right? So I want that thought process to go there. And talking about converting this commercial spaces into residence, 330 housing units. Mountain House has already a very fragile infrastructure. Our roads, our schools, our parks, nothing is prepared for any additional influx. Unless we improve the public infrastructure and bring it to good standards that can cater to around 40,000 people, which the city is planned for, we cannot add any more housing. That's a foolish decision. So I want everybody to be cognizant. Please have a higher purpose in mind. Profits should not take over the well-being of the community. And keep in mind, we're all here as passing clouds. 50 years, 20 years down the line, we don't know where we are going to be. So let's do decisions which upholds the legacy of who we are in the core. Let's not make foolish decisions which put a bad mark. That's what I want to say. Thank you. And at the end, I want to say, please move this application to the city and please stop this hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. This is Santosh from Mountain House. So again, as like my other colleagues, I was also here the last time when we had this same agenda item in the Planning Commission, in front of the Planning Commission. And I was kind of a little bit disappointed because even
శాస్త్ర ధర్మంలో ఏముందంటే మన గవ్వలు అంటారు కదా ఆ గవ్వలు వేస్తాం గవ్వలు వేసి
Okay. Yeah. So I was a bit disappointed when when the Planning Commission passed the verdict with 5-0, just overshadowing whatever the concerns that majority of the people from the Mountain House brought to the table, saying that why we are here to basically oppose the rezoning, right? Converting both basically all this commercial land or the park land into the for the housing purposes and all, right? Weren't our concerns valid? Like in terms of the main concerns were like with respect to the traffic, with respect to the safety of our kids and our residents, the overcrowding issue with the school. I still believe that these concerns were valid. I don't know what made the Planning Commission to just go ahead and pass that verdict with 5-0. that really kind of very, very disappoints me. And I don't see any valid reason as to why we are trying to rush at this point in time when we clearly know that within 1 or 2 months' time, this mountain house is going to become a city. So what is the motive here to pass all these things, the rezoning effort? Not only we had 3 rezoning earlier, and now we have additional rezoning applications coming in. That really needs some answer to our mountain house residents. And also, I think we brought one more other point was basically we already have some other piece of land which is already meant for the residential purposes and all. Why is the CSD or the Planning Commission not willing to look at those land which are still there, which can be converted into not converted, that's meant for residential? So why we are not focusing on that and then only trying to look at the zones which are meant for commercial or the park and trying to rezone it, right? I really don't get that thing. And again, we keep hearing a lot of things on the finance part and all for running the community itself or for the city. What are our plans for, I'll ask the city or the CSD, what is our plan for, looking at those commercial aspects, how we can bring more of commercial properties onto our mountain house so that we have the financial deficit can be addressed with that, not by means of rezoning, but bringing in the other retails and other commercial estates back into the mountain house. So these are the things that I just want to call out, and I'm really asking the Planning Commission to basically put a hold on this particular rezoning thing until the city Mountain House becomes a city. And I believe as we took the pledge earlier, liberty and justice for all, I hope we'll live up to that. Yeah, that's well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Good evening, members. My name is Amit. I'm Mountain House. So this is little surprise to me. I just moved Mountain House around 6 months back, and I'm moving from the Fremont. So Fremont, of course, is an old city. It's very thriving city. So very first question when somebody moved to prospective cities comes to mind. Oh wow, city, we are moving to city. When I hearing these things, oh, Mountain House is not city. It's just the somewhere in some land somebody made some houses and you live in the bed and bath. And when I see the master plan, oh, this is the plan developers put in the pictures that, oh, we'll have more commercial, we have all the infrastructure in the place, we'll have all the things which the city mean to be, right? But when I recently hear about these things, oh, that the developer and the CSD are changing their mind and putting more residential unit without adequate commercial or infrastructures is blow up my mind. And so which does not represent a true picture of any city, right? So suppose you live in Stockton, this city is feel like city, right? You live in the Dublin, you feel like city. You go to Tracy, it feel like city. When you go to Mountain House and you say, oh, we are going to city, what is a city? City with just houses? What? No, it cannot happen, right? You don't feel it's like city. So what I feel that there might be this was put maybe with the CSD or with the developers to make change in the master plan. They might have sought something. I want to know what's the criteria they first think about. We need to make a rezone. What the criteria thought about? What's the balance they are talking about? That how these things, what they plan in the master plan to make it a city. What's their process? What's their criteria? We want to hear more about that, right? And want to understand what their thought process to make more infrastructure. How they sustain this as a city in the future. I don't know how many people are living in the Mountain House from the planning commissions, right? How many people are living there to see how the Mountain House looks like, right? But we are the resident. We are living here. We're going to live here for 20 more years. If you keep building the houses without adequate infrastructures, when you talk about infrastructure, everything, we don't have adequate schools. There are some numbers are there. There's not adequate school rating is going down, and there's not enough infrastructures to support all this incoming the houses, incoming the people, right? So we want a balanced act, and we want the city to take these decisions, not the the people who not maybe the living over there or don't understand how the city works, take the decision. So since we are becoming the city soon, so I want Planning Commission to consider at least stop this hearing and give some more time to let the city understand what's the need of the master plan, where the change can happen, whether it makes sense to make rezoning, and whether we should be canceling the rezoning. So that's all from my side. So please consider it and make informative decisions to city itself rather than kind of, to you guys. Thank you.
Hello, can the public say something from online or someone?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Can I?
Yes.
Good evening, council members. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm against the rezoning. That's the reason I'm here. The reason I am against is I would like to take this to the city. Oh, sorry. My name is Venki. I am a resident of Mountain House. And what I wanted to say is that I'm against the rezoning because I would like to take this to the city. The reason being is that we pay taxes in Mountain House, right? So I believe that we have the privilege to work with our city council members as well as our mayor to really understand community needs and what is good for the community. Rather than being told, hey, this is what you're getting, let's go use it. I think that's not fair. I even heard a comment from one of our members saying, hey, we already had a consent on this. Why are we even talking about this? And thanks to the ma'am who's sitting in the left, I don't know your name here, but at least giving us the opportunity to speak here. I believe that there is a fundamental disconnect between the people who make decisions in Mountain House and the community members, right? When I say community members, I'm talking about the neighbors like myself and all the folks who are here. We are not here to disrupt the process. We are here to work with the people. I mean, I want to be very clear. This is not like trying to say, oh, don't do this. No, do it, but let's do something different, right? It's not building houses. Come on, I need to go to a clinic or an hospital. I need to go to Livermore or I need to go to Tracy. I need a fine dining restaurant. Where do I go? Oh, just drive 20 minutes towards Livermore or maybe 15 minutes to Tracy, right? Kids activities. I need to host a birthday party. Tell me, is there a place in Mountain House where I can host? No, I need to drive 15, 20 minutes to do something. So my point here is that rezoning application should be rezoned. It should not be rezoned for houses. It could be for retail, or it could be for some commercial space where the community feels good about it. When we call it as a community, it includes the people, it includes the parks, which the people can use, but also it includes all the retail and commercial space which comes with that. That's how you build a community and you be happy. So my perspective here is that please, council members, give a thought process on this, and please consider that this application, we are not saying like stop it. No, please forward it to the city. Give the residents of Mountain House an opportunity to work with the city folks, including our new mayor, and we'll find a solution to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, anyone online? Oh, I'm sorry, there's still one more.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Valentina Efijuku, 14-year member of Mountain House, and love my community. When there was a push for Mountain House to become a city, there was a lot of skepticism that I've heard. We weren't ready, we didn't have enough resources, we need more businesses. And one of the main selling points that got everyone excited that I spoke to, and I spoke to a lot of people, cross-section of people, when this was being considered, was we will have the power in our hands for rezoning and the potential of what that could be. We know that currently we need businesses in Mountain House. We need people to come out of their homes and be more of a community together for whatever reason, whether it's more employment for industry, whether it's, as our neighbor said here, resources for restaurants or anything else that we might want to do, bring people out of their homes, not keep people in their homes with their doors closed, only to commute over the hill again the next day. So I've heard from more than one person that it feels kind of a little bit like a bait and switch, like in order for us to become a city, that's one of the main selling points that was given to us, that we'll have the power in our hands to rezone. But then all of a sudden, here we are with some push to rezone really quickly without the people. So I'm wondering what's going on here. And I know that, although I don't know how many people are online, but obviously there are people here. I know my time is coming to a close, but please consider not rezoning at this time. Give us what we were told we would have, and that is the power in our hands to make a decision and rezone. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone online that wishes to speak?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Yeah, my name is Anuj Ladha. I'm a resident of Mountain House. I've been here for about a year and a half. My family and I moved here in August 2022. And I've had a chance to kind of think through this issue and hear what the other residents, the former speakers, have said about this issue. I know a few of them personally. And I have to say, I can't ever more not disagree with them. I completely agree with their points. If we all just take a step back for a second, whether you're in the courtroom, or online, why do you buy a house? Do you just buy a house to live somewhere? A lot of people from outside the Bay Area, other states, have moved to Mountain House. You don't just make an investment to, give shelter, give something indoor to you and your family and your loved ones, but you make an investment also for purposes of learning from other residents, growing with each other within a community. It's not just about staying in the house like the former speaker said. It's about expanding our base commercially as a city. If you're going to vote to become a city, which is now Mountain House, then you really have to think through, is it just only about utilizing remaining spaces for homes, or you have to think holistically and comprehensively. You build commercial enterprises, restaurants, places where people can learn and grow from each other. And especially Mountain House, the average age of families living is relatively low, those with young children, older children as well. But, how about commercial enterprises, learning institutes for children, right? After school type options, learning institutions for adults to learn different areas of life. So, those are just some things to think about. Just because you have a city, just because you have, something that's taken a while to become a city, it doesn't mean you just jam-pack houses everywhere and then later on, whoever you're coming from, whether you're from outside the Bay Area or other states or even from overseas, why do you come all the way to Mountain House just to make an investment to buy a home? Or there's got to be other reasons as well. So anyway, just something to think about. In a nutshell, and just to get to the point, I'm against this rezoning decision. But hopefully my points are making sense, that you don't just move somewhere to live somewhere, you move to grow, enrich your knowledge in the form of, commercial enterprises. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else online?
Yes. Yeah, hi. My name is Padmanabhan Thadepalli, a resident of Mountain House, almost 6 years. I just want to put quickly a different view for the same issue. I'm living here, paying more include the Melrose also. I should use the word living here, but every expense I make, every money I spend actually goes to other cities. I'm buying items either in Tracy, Livermore, Dublin, anywhere else, for a lot of things where I go for, even buying gas for that matter, right? So the more commercial entities that are in Mountain House will help me to spend my money in Mountain House for Mountain House and Mountain House development. Second thing I want to convey is, I don't know if it's perfect to say it, once a decision has been made and the Mountain House has become its own city, I see the county as a caretaker government just waiting to pass the baton to the city so that the city takes care of itself. So we shouldn't be starting a new decision after the decision is made, after the elections have come, that the mountain has become a city. Only that there's a formal day is July 1, but people have already decided in the first week of March that it is a city. So in the meanwhile, we shouldn't be rushing to decisions which affects the lives of the residents of Mountain House. So on that note, I request the county not to consider this application and not to rezone and just pass the application back to the city and to see how we take care of our own decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone else online?
Hi, good evening. This is Ashish here. I'm a resident of Mountain House. Good evening, council members and friends. So yeah,
Sir, online, we cannot hear your public comment.
He muted himself. In the meantime, can I give public comment?
Are you still online? Should we move to the next person? Yeah. Next person online that wishes to speak?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Louis Pham, and I have been a resident here since 2021. I signed my agreement for purchase in 2020. When I signed my agreement, I was shown a master plan, and it seems like all of the decisions that have been made lately have changed the master plan that I signed on to in 2020. Public spaces are being taken away, schools are being doubled up, and school land is being rezoned and repurposed for residential. And then now with this, we're going to take away some more retail and commercial space for more housing. A well-balanced city needs schools, parks, but also needs business, because those sales tax is going to support our city. If you rush to make decisions for our city as a county without knowing the local needs, you might hurt us in the long run. And we are the ones that suffer when you make these lasting decisions. And I hope that you know that. You know, you're not going to experience the overcrowding. You're not going to experience the lack of funds that are needed to support the city because we have no retail. But we are, and it will hurt us. So please reconsider your choices today and let us be our independent city, which we voted in during March. Everybody is saying the same thing. Why are you rushing? Why are you making special hearings for developers to push along their objectives without the say of the city and the citizens who live there? They're going to come in, they're going to make their money, and they're going to leave. And we're going to be left with the decisions you make today. So please reconsider. I fully oppose this.
Thank you. Next person online? No others?
We have one trying to speak, but she's muted. I believe it's Coral.
Coral, I think you
Coral?
are muted. You need to unmute.
Coral, you're muted. Please unmute. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm unmuted here. Okay. Well, my name is Coral, and I have lived in Mountain House since 2010. When I moved in here, there was nothing. So our town center was a blessing. And now that we're going to become a city, I would like to ask, where did this decision come from? Is it because we are now going to be a city and then the developers want to rush and add more homes here? Or are they going to build more recreational things for us, stores, businesses? If it's going to be homes, like everybody has said, I do not want to keep repeating what everybody has said, but it's not going to be of any benefit to us now. We need more of commercial space, maybe double up in our schools because the schools are getting too packed. My daughter is in 6th grade. There are like 35 students in the class. When she was in 2nd grade, it was like 24. So it's like everything is getting tight. So we need more facilities for the residents of Mountain House and not more homes. So please, I am against this. And even if we are not going to be a voice for the county, let the people of Mountain House speak. Let us vote on this. Give us the opportunity, current residents in Mountain House, to vote and see if it will pass. I work with a lot of developers. I know exactly what's going on. But I am also saying again, please, 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 hear us. We need more facilities, not houses.
Thank you. Anyone else online?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ramesh Naramadhu. I'm resident of Mountain House. Sorry, I'm working today. I couldn't drive there. It's a lot of traffic from Bay Area. That's where I joined online. Thanks for the opportunity. So I am completely against this rezoning. We came in, as as others spoke, we came the last time also as well. So there is a pattern going on. It's too much of rushed rezonings are happening just before the city, take over the actual administration work. So there might be historical reasons for all these applications, and the CST being maybe signed some of them, but now this mountain city has scaled up, and the only way I think earlier people are looking at is to make money is just either more houses build or special taxes, but that needs to be changed. So there is less commercial right now with the more rezonings. It will be more less percentage. So we don't want to continue that old mindset with the scale Mountain House post COVID era, where a lot of people came. We looked at it around 1,800 plus new families moved in last 36 months from Zillow record itself, right? So there are a lot of new families came in with a lot of new thoughts. So if the old leaders cannot think in a new way to make better income for the city, people will definitely decide on whom to support it. But that's the difference. But now, just before the city is going to take over, this Russian rezoning is happening. We really don't want to support it. And also, I looked at the application. The application jobs to housing ratio is changed to 0.96, which is completely incorrect today, because that data is based on the number of people working from home in 2022 February, right? A lot of things changed in the last 2 years. Many people are going back to offices, and so a lot of traffic, all that. So if we take the same, the numbers, that will drastically change. So we really don't want the outdated numbers to rule our lives in Mountain House. And the decision makers, we want somebody in Mountain House rather than somebody who just looks at a map or just approves. So I completely oppose rezoning, especially this Russian rezoning. Please, either reject it or move to city for the decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else online?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sachin Andhare. I've been a Mountain House resident for the last 7 months, and I've been a Bay Area resident for the last 15 years. I have made more trips to neighboring cities of Tracy, Dublin, San Ramon, and more trips to these cities, nearby cities, more than 6 months than my stay of 15 years in the Bay Area. And the reason being, all these cities, whether it is Fremont or Livermore, they have commercial and retail spaces. A healthy city is one where you have restaurants, where you have places to go eat, host birthday parties, commercial places, retail places, right? And there is nothing in Mountain House. So even though I was super excited to move to Mountain House, I'm now seeing the reality, right? This is not sustainable. Unless we have more and more commercial and retail spaces, the future of Mountain House is going to be bleak. So I totally oppose this rezoning. I'm against any rezoning of commercial place into residential. In fact, we need less of residential. We have enough of that. And we should rezone residential to commercial. More retail, more restaurants, more places where we know we can enjoy. Otherwise, this city is not sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Chairman, can I
Can I make a comment, please?
Yes.
John Anderson, contract planner with San Joaquin County, dealing specifically with Mountain House related items. I think there's some confusion here tonight. The public comments we're hearing are really relative to item number 2 on the agenda for the most part. Number 1, which was on consent, deals specifically with a policy related item that the Board of Supervisors adopted on March 12th. That policy item dealt with jobs housing ratio in this community and was based on almost 4 years worth of research and data initially performed by the CSD and then ultimately under independent review initiated almost a year and a half, 2 years ago by this county, by San Joaquin County, to represent what was the true need for jobs, industrial development, commercial development, and office space. That's what that item is discussing. That's the action that's being presented to you as a follow-up to the policy direction that the board made on March 12th. Again, the items in the public presentations that we're hearing at this point really relate to item number 2, which discusses the rezone of 3 specific sites that are represented by Trimark, Sunchase Builders, who are the original master plan developers for the Mountain House community, initiating way before, I don't know exactly when, but ultimately it was approved by the board in 92, 93, but I believe they probably started on it in 88 or maybe before that as part of their land assemblage. But in any event, this item here is not related to the rezone specifically. And again, it's to implement what the board had adopted and requires changes to all of the policy related documents, the master plan and the effective specific plan, to take into consideration this new job housing ratio. Sorry.
And so through the chair, if I may, I think Mr. Anderson is absolutely correct.
Yes.
The comments that everyone has made so far is actually on item 2 of the agenda. They're entitled to give comments. We've gotten through many of them. But for the sake of housekeeping and so that people who came for item 1 can be released, you called item 1. I believe you had a motion and a second on item 1.
We did not get a chance to do that, I think. But I want to make a clarification as well. On a consent agenda item, it specifically states that it will be approved in one motion without a public hearing unless a member of the Planning Commission or the audience requests that the item be removed from the consent calendar and heard separately. That wasn't done. That was the point I was trying to make. I don't want anyone to think for 1 minute we don't want to hear from you. We do. And we appreciate you making the effort to come here and to be online with us. So if I may, I would like to make the motion to accept the consent agenda, and then we'll move on to the second item.
I'll second that.
A member of public asked that the consent item be removed.
Item number 1?
Yes. I have a comment regarding item number 1.
I have also commented on item number 1.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat your comment? I did not hear you.
Yeah, I have a comment regarding item number 1, and I'd like to request that it be removed from the consent calendar. So can I make my comment regarding item number 1?
Is it too late for that?
Chair, if I may.
If I may again, sir, I understand what you're saying now, but it was stated before this motion was ever made. It's read every time when we have a meeting on a consent agenda item. That's the sentence I just read to you. So I think now to ask for that to happen is completely out of order.
But you know, I was the next one in the queue to speak, and I was interrupted. I was not allowed to speak.
Sir, are you going to talk about the rezoning of Mountain House?
No, I'm talking about item number 1, which is the changes to the jobs to housing ratio.
Commissioner Roostaller, I hear your concern. Out of an abundance of caution, I would ask that we allow him to give his public comment.
All right, so just so we know, this item has been pulled from consent, and now we will have to go through the normal order, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, sir, you're going to have to wait, because now don't we have to hear from the applicant?
Yes.
Does the applicant wish to speak on this item?
So we're removing it from consent?
So again, Chairperson and Planning Commission, the applicant in this case is staff, is county planning staff. I represent county planning staff. I don't have a PowerPoint for you tonight. This is a follow-up item to an action that the board took on March 12th. There is a staff report in your package. There's also detailed attachments, which include the secret determination, the EPS report that was published January 25th of 2024, and then the various tables and texts to both the master plan, specific plan 1, 2, and 3 that are suggesting to be changed as a result of that new policy as adopted by the Board of Supervisors, and then the necessary basis of findings for those approvals. In essence, the board adopted a policy to modify the jobs housing balance from a factor of 0.99 to 0.76. A big part of that had to do with the fact that through surveys that have been conducted, there's approximately 0.46 jobs per house. Obviously a direct relationship with what's happened with COVID, post-COVID, and changing work environments in the United States and actually in the world for that matter. It's certainly something that no one could have ever anticipated back in 1990 or 92 or 93, something that actually was building up until about 2020, and then obviously it's become more prevalent. So that is now a big part of, the evaluation of what truly is job housing. So that was a big part of this analysis and evaluation, and ultimately part of the board's decision on this item specifically. So if you guys have any questions other than what I said or what's been presented, I can certainly answer any questions that you have. Other than that, since it is a pulled item, then we would continue with the public hearing on this item specifically, not relative to the rezone. Thank you.
Any questions?
Anybody here wants to talk just to this item?
Just to this item?
I have a question.
Not the rezoning, just to item number 1.
Yes,
Go
I have
ahead,
a
come
question.
up to the podium if you'd like to speak.
May I speak? I have a question.
Oh, from the people online.
No, she has a question that we have to hear. You can take the question.
I have a comment regarding item number 1 as well.
Please hold. We have a person. If you're online, please hold. We have a person in chambers who has public comment on item number 1 on the agenda.
Okay, you may speak. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is for the item number 1. I just want to comment on this because people are mentioning about 4 years of work and bringing what is happening in the whole United States. We're not talking about whole United States. We're talking about Mountain House, right? So what is the jobs, how the jobs are working? So we used to work, majority of the people work in IT and software or engineering side. So we used to work from home previously. Now everybody was asking back, all the companies asking us back to the report back to the companies. So there is no what you did in the, and they talked about the surveys, whom you did survey. I didn't get any survey to my home. I didn't answer it. And people are saying that we worked for 4 years. Yeah, you got paid for it and you got a bonus too. So what is wrong? You can work one more year and get paid and get the bonus. So what is that that I put 4 years effort and I want to approve it now? So we work from mostly not for a government, but we work for private organizations where we don't care. We care about what is right for the city and not what you worked in the past. So the 4 years from now in the past is it's like you're working through the COVID. So how you can say that now the changes number from 9.97 to 0.75 and removing all the things which we waited for so long and we get shown a dream. I moved into Mountain House in 2005 and it took 20 years to get a safe weather. I waited, and now you're removing this vacant land, which is like office commercial, converting, again, I don't want to go there, but I'm trying to say is you're reducing again from this number one will trigger number two. See, when you're changing the zone from 0.97 to 0.7, then that means you're opening up more land to be converted into more homes. So that is what you're trying to do. So if I pass one, then the number two will start. So, and you started at 312, and you know by the time you waited for so long to see whether you become a city or not, and then you make, okay, the board made. My only concern is, it doesn't matter if you work 4 years, you got paid. So I want you to think that what the people of Mountain House wants. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Yes, it's me, Coral.
And this is on number one, item number one.
On number one, yes, and it's the gentleman that spoke about the reports and ratio of work and housing. How did you come about that decision? Was it in an executive meeting, or it was a decision from the people of Mountain House that we're now having it in a consent calendar to be approved? Like he said, I didn't get any information about that, so I don't know how many people in Mountain House got this information, that it's now a document to be on the consent calendar to be approved. So like whoever the first person said is, I think it should be removed from the consent calendar.
It already has been. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else like to speak?
There was a gentleman online who wanted to speak to item number one. This is your time to come forward, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Can I speak? I see there's someone in person there.
Go ahead, sir. Online.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm Surendra. I'm a resident of Mountain House, and my comment is regarding item number one, and I request that it not be adopted because the data on which that analysis is based is outdated. So the cost mount and EPS analysis that is present in the report is based on data up until latest close to 2023. However, those numbers have changed. This number has actually drastically changed in the last 1.5 years. Work from home numbers have plummeted by double-digit percentages, and they're much lower than the estimates that are used in the analysis, which is 0.46, which is very much on the high end, even for previous years. The latest numbers, according to Stanford University's monthly survey, and this data is available for the planning department to verify and check. This is wfhresearch.com/data. This is by Stanford University. That number is 0.35, and it's been falling. This is because more and more companies are requiring employees to come back to the office. There are more return to office mandates. So the data that EPS and Costmont have based their analysis on, that is outdated. So what this means is that there's going to be an infrastructure breakdown if we go ahead with this decision. Right now, it takes me 30 minutes just to get onto 580. To drive 3 miles to get onto the 580 ramp, it takes me 30 minutes. There's no traffic study that's included in this updated master plan as well. So any such changes will require an updated traffic study. We'll have to look at our infrastructure to see if that infrastructure can support this higher number or lower number for jobs to housing ratio as well. So therefore, I request that this item be declined. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on item number 1?
Hello, my name is Igor Kishilov. I'm resident of Mountain House. It is suggested to update master plan with next wording. Approximately 6,600 on-site jobs and 10,200 work from home jobs will be provided in Mountain House. At the same time, it lower expected number of jobs per acre from industrial developments. With these numbers, medium, high, and high density will create jobs per acre than industrial land. It sounds incorrect and will create an awful framework for future rezoning. Would you like to create more jobs in Mountain House? Okay, let's just rezone some industrial land into high-density residential development. To prevent it, I suggest rephrase it to something like approximately 6,060 on-site jobs will be provided in Mountain House. About 40% of workforce is expected to be involved in work from home or something similar, depends on what number it would be used for a work from home ratio. The same edits should be done in a specific plan. And I would also support previous speaker who told that expected number of work from home done in right after pandemic, and we have a very different limit now, and in long term that number may be very, very incorrect. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to go ahead and speak? Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to repeat the same thing what my fellow members told. It's like I think I heard the gentleman telling that we did the surveys and we came up with this number. Hypothesis is something that you put the parameters what the expected results you want to be. I can change the same hypothesis by inputting a different parameters what I want. The question now is, with the data analysis, 10 years back, what it was done, it's different. 2 years back, what it was done, it was during COVID. How can you take the hypothesis of COVID to say that the industry standard has shifted and everyone are going to work from home? Who made the decision? It's a narrative. Fast forward, now all the office are asking the employees to be in the office. Now, the hypothesis or the report what was done, can it be changed? Because you're holding on to the past. What the future is. We are talking about the future here, not about the past. If the survey was done, I would love to see the parameters, what was the criteria and consideration done to do this. If it was to say that clogging of 580, was that taken into consideration? I would love to hear those things. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to take a short break. I'm going to take a short break for 5 minutes. Yeah, but Okay, just to review, we've taken it off of consent, and we have heard, this is on item number 1, not number 2. And are there any more comments on number 1?
Yes, I do have timeline. Good evening, everyone. This is Ramesh Nalamuthu, resident of Mountain House. So I mentioned about item number 1 in my previous comment, but everything is turned out to be, considering for item number 2. So I just want to repeat. So I would like
Excuse me, sir. If you have already spoken on item number 1,
No.
there is no more additional public comment.
Yeah, this is specific to item number 1. So I would like to say this data is outdated, which is based on 2022. And I just heard from the staff member that there was a 4 years study done. So if we take before 2022, 4 years, it is core pandemic time, which is like once in 100 years old event. And if we take the data out of that kind of years, that's a completely incorrect. And what it is today is very, very low. So 0.96 is incorrect and based out of a outdated data. So I would like to decline that item number 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking on these numbers, right? I mean, I'm in Mountain House. I'm a resident of Mountain House for the past 20 years, and I have never seen a survey coming in my way or in our way, asking for this thing. I'm really surprised that to hear that there was a study has done, a survey was done 4 years back. And we all know during COVID, everyone stayed home. I don't know who came for the survey during the COVID. I must congratulate or appreciate them taking the time and challenging their life there, putting their life on the line to take the survey. And we have to see what is before COVID, and we are in the post-COVID era now. We have to see how many of us going back. Again, companies are not going to pay you, keep you at home. They want you to be there because they have invested in their infrastructure. They don't want to keep their infrastructure empty. They want you to be work from there. So they are asking every one of us come back to work, and we are traveling now. And I just learned there was a recent survey has done, and there are out of 30,000 people were responded back. Again, I have not seen that survey, even recent survey. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. Are these numbers just making up? Somebody's making up these numbers. I have no clue about these things. But again, please, as my other friend was saying, number 1 triggers number 2. They're not different from us. For us, the residents, please consider these things. These are the facts. The fact is, I have not seen this survey. And I don't think any one of us sitting here in this room have seen this. Thank you so much.
Mr. Anderson? No, to the applicant.
So, Madam Chairman, members of the commission, if you have questions of us, the survey data is real. Steve Pinkerton with the CSD is in the audience. They are consistently taking surveys of their community. The numbers that were represented are substantiated based on real evidence that we have today, not necessarily what was done in 2020 or 2022. Again, the COSMOD analysis was done by the CSD. The county is an independent body commissioned economic planning systems to review the COSMOD analysis and to come up with their own interpretation as to exactly what's happening in the real world based on the data. This information is posted to the county's website. It's part of this agenda item. All the detail is available, has been available for a while, and I don't know much more to say than that, other than the board's considered it, the board's made the policy direction, and what this item is in essence cleaning up the policy-related items in the master plan and the affected specific plans. It does not involve specific rezoning of properties. That's item number 2, which will be considered at a later time once this item has been settled. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's closed. I'm sorry. Comments from the commission?
I'd ask that we call for a vote.
Call for a vote.
Second.
The motion has been first and second, and now we're calling for a vote.
Commissioner Brewstaller,
Yes.
Commissioner Sangha,
Yes.
Commissioner Milas,
Yes.
Commissioner Midgley.
Yes. We've heard lots of opposition on the over the phone and here in person about item number 2, the rezoning. Would anybody be interested in making a motion to postpone it to an indefinite date? No motion for that? Okay, well then we'll move on. Item number 2, I'd like to hear from the applicant.
Let me, yeah.
Oh, I am so
yeah.
sorry. Yes, yes.
Madam Chairperson.
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Madam Chairperson, John Anderson, representing San Joaquin County Planning Department, working exclusively on Mountain House. Please allow me to make my staff presentation on this item. You have before you 14 letters in opposition that were filed prior to this hearing. They are part of this public hearing and discussion item, and those have been presented to you tonight. The item before you is a general plan amendment, master plan amendment, specific plan amendment, zone reclassification, and then also involves 3 individual subdivisions. This is the first proposal to rezone commercially designated properties to residential development. This application was officially filed almost a year and a half ago. Staff could not continue the processing of this application until we had definitive information relative to job housing, because job housing is an integral part of the overall land use mix within this master plan known as Mountain House. So after having said that, going back over the project description itself, we are talking about land use map changes. We're talking about modifications to the Mountain House master plan itself to contemplate these types of changes. Also changes to both specific plan 1 and 2, and then zone reclassifications as I've described, and then 3 major subdivisions as well. As we're all aware, Mountain House is a planned master plan community. It was approved back in the early 90s. It consists of about 4,700 acres. The master plan and specific plan 1 were approved back in 94. Specific plan 2 was approved in 2004, and then ultimately specific plan 3 was approved back in 2005. There are 3 specific areas that are affected by the proposal. Area 1, the APNs are listed. This is a proposed land use change from office to medium density residential, and the associated changes to the specific plan and zoning, and a proposal to consider a subdivision map of this 22 acres to create 143 lots. The second area is again a land use change from community commercial to medium density residential, a zone change consistent with that, and a tentative map to subdivide the 17.8 acres into 106 lots. Area 3 is a similar land use change from, again, community commercial to low density residential, change to both the specific plan and zoning to correspond, and then also a tentative subdivision map on this 20 acres to create 81 residential lots. The 3 sites are identified here, and so site 1 is just south of Arnado, and that is westerly of Mountain House Parkway. Site 2 is north of Arnado and easterly of Central Parkway. And then area number 3 is westerly of Great Valley Parkway, up against the Alameda County line. So a big part of this has to do with analyzing and reviewing the jobs housing ratio, which was initially adopted by the board for this community at 0.99 jobs per house. That is part of the overall evaluation. The policy actions imposed by the board was reviews of the job housing that was being delivered through the community. Mintia Harnish completed this and presented it to the Planning Commission and to the board back in 2019 and suggested realistically the jobs housing in this community was somewhere between 0.07 and 0.17. The Mountain House Community Service District, through job housing studies in 2020 and 2022, evaluated what the job housing ratio, or excuse me, what the job housing ratio is more likely to be. And then, of course, a big consideration for that was the work from home, specifically associated with, I suspect, the COVID issues we were working with at the time, and then obviously the shift in the workforce. Trimark's application was filed somewhere between 2022 and 2023, and then we moved on to the peer evaluation by economic planning systems, which I've discussed previously, and the county's independent evaluation of that analysis and determination on new job housing numbers, culminating in the board's action of March 12th, which served to reduce the job housing policy from 0.99 to 0.76. What does this mean to us in the land use world? This spreadsheet kind of shows where we are now and what would happen if Trimark's proposal were to be approved by this commission and ultimately by the Board of Supervisors. The job housing policy that the board approved in March suggested this community needed 13 acres of commercial development for the neighborhood, general and community commercial of 56 acres, similar to what they have with the Safeway Center, and 25 acres of freeway commercial, which is principally, adjacent to the I-205 corridor, and about 8 acres of commercial office. The adopted master plan has set aside and reserved currently 25 acres of neighborhood commercial, 124 acres of general and community commercial, 27 acres of freeway commercial, and 56 acres of commercial office, excuse me. The Trimark proposed land use changes represents 0 changes to neighborhood commercial, which gives us 25 acres remaining. They're proposing to rezone of the 124 acres, 38.1 acres to something else, and in this case residential, which gives us still remaining 85.9 acres, which is obviously above the job housing recommendations by the Board of Supervisors by whatever that margin is. And then as it relates to freeway commercial, no change. Commercial office, they're suggesting to change 22 of those, 22.6 acres of the 56, giving us a balance of 33.4. So there's still a lot of room left in land use adjustments, each of which will be evaluated independently by, at least at this point, by San Joaquin County, and ultimately evaluated by the City of Mountain House through separate applications and application presentations, that are made to the city. So this to me demonstrates that there's ample opportunities for future land use changes to other things as long as utilities are available, water, sewer, storm drain, schools are able to accommodate the population, and of course, impacts are properly evaluated as it relates to traffic. So as part of this project, the original master plan talked about 3 village commercial type developments. One of the sites, Site 2, is one of those village commercial sites located in close proximity to the town center. And we believe, or it's believed both by the CSD and the county, that that initial concept of village commercial really doesn't appear to be supported based on what's happened with Safeway and what's happened with some of the other neighborhood commercial development in the community itself, plus what may or may not happen along the I-205 corridor and Grant Line. Office development, on the other hand, can be accommodated both by properties that are zoned for office development as well as properties that are zoned MX or mixed use. And there's plenty of acreage of MX that could accommodate that as well. It's clear to us, based on the record and evidence that's been presented on this project specifically, that the Mountain House Community Service District has reviewed this particular project and the 3 maps suggested, and they believe it's supported, meaning that utilities are available and have been properly evaluated for this type of land use change. There's one other issue is neighborhood F would need to be expanded by definition to include Area 1. There's an issue regarding the west community edge. The original buffer along that west community edge was made up of Great Valley Parkway, in addition to a 100-foot setback from the eastern right-of-way line to the structures that are built, or the homes that are built along that corridor. And it's been determined that Great Valley Parkway is wide enough to accommodate it, and that the extra 100-foot right-of-way, or setback, is no longer necessary, either from an environmental standpoint or from an overall community standpoint. Anyway, so the school district has weighed in, has been a participant in this process, and is stated that this developer, like other developments, would be required to get a certificate of compliance, which is required for building permits, which demonstrates that they have or will pay their fair share towards needed school facilities to accommodate the extra homes and the extra student population. So again, the 3 areas suggesting to be rezoned. Area 1, I've just talked about. This is going from office to residential. Area 2 is one of the village commercial sites, the center village commercial site, which is right next to the town center, that would go to, from community commercial to residential. And this is the expansion of neighborhood F to include, the site that's along Mountain House Parkway, south of Ornado. And this is Area 3, which again would go from community commercial to RL as suggested, again along the Alameda County line. The edge treatment along the Alameda County line is as suggested. The 100-foot setback, which would consist of roads and right-of-way, and then of course a 20-foot setback to the structure is presented, and then an additional 38.5 feet on the east side. Again, the line on the far left is the Alameda County line, would be comprised of drainage facilities as well as landscaping amenities that would ultimately be managed by the Community Service District. This is the suggested map for Area 1, which again is the property that's south of Ornado. It would consist of a number of, it's going to let me do it. I don't know it will. So in essence, we'll have walls along Arnado. We'll have a wall segment along Mountain House Parkway and a wall segment along the southern edge of the project, and then along De Anza, and then with your entrances to the project to the north, to the east, and then also to the south. The design on this subdivision has gone through many reiterations, and it's consistent with the CSD's considerations, and then also design specifications. Area number 2, again, this is the property that's directly south of the town center, and next to what Van Dale is building for apartments. This is their phase 2 apartments, phase 1 apartments. They're nearly complete here and have started renting them out. This project here would have consideration for alley-loaded homes up against Main Street, across the street from the community park, alley-loaded homes along Central Parkway, which would meet the Central Parkway standards and designs such that these homes will front or appear to front on Central Parkway. Very specific design considerations associated with that element, and this project, this map as presented, is consistent with those design themes. Area 3 is, again, against the Alameda County line here along the western edge, and the drainage facility and the street that I've discussed. They would have walls along the north edge of the project, and then also a community wall along this section of Great Valley Parkway, and then of course your access point here to the south, and then also an access point here to the north. So after having said all of that, here are the recommendations again to the Board of Supervisors, that the board would take action on the addendum to the CEQA document that was presented, that you would make a recommendation to the board that the basis for the master plan changes would be appropriate, and that I make a recommendation that the suggested specific plan 1 and 2 amendments be approved with the basis for these specific plan amendments, and then the same with the zone reclassification, and then independent actions on the 3 maps as presented, PA 230055 and PA 230056 and PA 230057. These are all part of your package in the staff report, and obviously there's a number of attachments that are part of this, and because of the volume of documentation, there's a number of hyperlinks that have been provided and that are part of this application process. So there actually are attachments A through P that specifically address all the various issues, including water and sewer demand analysis, and then of course will serve commitments from the Community Service District for the project as presented. I know that Steve Harum is representing Trimark, who is the applicant on this project. He is in the audience, as well as Dwayne Grisman, who is the principal in charge, working with Trimark Sunchaser, and then also Steve Pinkerton's in the audience representing the Mountain House Community Service District. I don't have anything else to say other than what I presented to you tonight. If you have any questions over what I've talked about or what's been presented, please let me know, and I'll try to do my best to address those concerns.
Are there any questions? Not this time. The applicant.
Good evening. My name is Steve Harum. I represent Trimark Development. Trimark Communities is the master developer of this, and I'm accompanied by Dwayne Grimsman. Dwayne and I have worked on the Mountain House project for 36 years. So 36 of the 45 years I've been practicing law, I've been intimately involved in first getting this project approved and then implementing it and moving on today. And so Dwayne and I obviously have a great deal of institutional knowledge of what's happened over those 36 years. Mr. Anderson did such a fine staff report. I'm really going to abbreviate my comments and spend maybe 5 to 7 minutes to highlight a few things, if I may, because it was so complete. I'm not going to try to repeat what he said. I would just point out that we agree with the staff report, we agree with the recommendation, and we agree with all the conditions of approval for the map. So we completely agree with everything the staff has said. We have no disagreement. We don't want anything different than what they are proposing tonight. There's a bundle of applications. Part of them are amendments to the general plan, the master plan, and the specific plan, and the other part are 3 subdivision maps. You know, these projects were originally approved and these plans were done in 1993. And because of that, there's always a need to look at them and look at them differently in light of economic changes. And let me try to put that into context, if I can, of what the world was like in 1993. Bill Clinton had just been sworn in as president. We never heard of Monica Lewinsky. Michael Jackson, the most popular pop star of the day, was the headliner for the Super Bowl halftime show. Gas you could pump for $1.16 a gallon. You could go to a movie for $4.25, and a loaf of bread cost 75 cents. Things have changed a lot since 1993, and including the fact at that time I was about 30 pounds less and I had nice brown hair. And that changed, and the reason we have to look at that. The second thing I really want to emphasize to you is that this creates approximately 335 lots. But all of those lots were authorized in the original master plan, specific plan, and general plan in 1993. My point to you, and there are 2 important things to say about that. Number one, contrary to what you've heard, we are not creating any new lots. These were lots that were anticipated to be built out in 1993. The second important thing to remember is that because they were anticipated and they were studied as part of the original EIR, all of the master plans and specific plans and infrastructure plans for the project on day one assumed that build out and were built out to accommodate all those lots. So unlike the subdivisions you heard a couple of weeks ago that were adding new lots, which you approved unanimously, this is a different situation in as much as we were taking lots that were already authorized but not in earlier maps, and we're putting them into maps today. We're not adding a single lot more than was intended in 1993. And I think that's an important thing to point out because you heard a very different narrative during the first part of this presentation to suggest these are all new lots. That is simply not true. There are no new lots. All of these are authorized in 1993, and the infrastructure was designed to accommodate all of them. So with that in mind, I'd really like to emphasize 3 points today. One is just the first point I just made, is that these are not new lots. These were lots that were previously authorized. They are correlated to the infrastructure. Nothing is different. Now, why did that happen? Because when we built those original subdivisions, market conditions changed, and Trimark had larger lots on those subdivisions. Because of the larger lots, they ended up with a surplus of about 350 lots that were authorized that they did not put in those earlier subdivisions. So we're taking that surplus and we're putting it in those 3 subdivisions. But again, there's no net change in the number of lots that were intended to be built back in 1993, and it's all been planned for, and all the environmental review was done at that time. We're simply implementing the plan as it was originally done. And I think that's a very important point. Second, these maps benefit the community. The new homes will pay capital facility fees. Those capital facility fees will be used to continue to build infrastructure and amenities out in the community. Second of all, instead of having vacant land at very low prices because you build houses, you have change of ownerships and the assessment goes up and more taxes get paid. That tax dollar goes to the CSD. You know, currently this community has very significant debt. They've got to lower their debt so they can end up funding more amenities. These houses will contribute to the financial well-being of the community and allow them to lower the debt and build more amenities. In fact, the studies that were done to determine whether this community fiscally could become a city assumed that these lots would be subdivided and would be built out and would be part of the infrastructure of that community for taxing purposes. So part of the analysis that allowed this community to go forward fiscally was due to the fact there was an assumption that these lots would be placed somewhere and would be built out. In counter-distinction, leaving the land the way it is doesn't do anything. The Cosmo study and EAPS both concluded that this land as commercial would stay vacant during our lifetime because there was too much of that land. Which really brings me to my third point, is that it's unlikely this land is ever going to build out. You know, there's an assumption of some people that if you simply designate property, commercial or office or whatever it is, capital will run to it and build it. But we all know that's not true. That doesn't happen that way. Capital goes where there's a chance to have a yield and a profit. And look what's happened since 1993. The way we do business has changed. Anyone who's seen an Amazon truck go through their community knows that. Anyone who's seen the neighbor across the street have Kentucky Fried Chicken delivered to them, which shocks me, has seen that. You know, people are working from home. People are working remotely. Office vacancy is 40 to 50 to 60% in some places. We've all read about all the major retailers closing down in Union Square in San Francisco. You're not seeing new shopping centers being built. There's a reason that industry is shrinking right now. So what this proposal does is align the land uses with the reality that's going on right now. And that is that retail is shrinking, offices are shrinking. It's the way the world is right now, and you're having larger stores such as Walmart and Costco and the like taking the vast amount of the retail dollar. So you can zone all the property you want, shopping center or retail or office, until the cows come home. It's not going to be built. And this is an effort to align the land uses with reality in a manner that helps the district financially and allows them to do more things they want to do. So in conclusion, and thank you for this opportunity to comment on this, Dwayne and I are both here to answer any questions you have. We were there from the beginning when it was just dirt out there. This is a project that makes sense. It is a project that uses current units that were planned. It's not new housing. Already the infrastructure plans are designed to accommodate this, and it turns property that will be unproductive and will not create tax dollars for the city into areas that will create tax dollars for the community, for capital improvements, and for general fund money that can be used for services and amenities and the like. It simply makes no sense to leave this excess commercial land vacant for 20 or 30 years when this community needs to pay down its debt and it needs to fund infrastructure. So given that, I really believe these citizens are well-meaning, but I think the underlying predicate of their argument is wrong, is that this is not new development. This is development that was already authorized, and that puts this in a completely different light, in my opinion. I can attempt to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents of the project that would like to speak? Any opponents to the project that would like to speak? Now, when you speak, please limit your time and do not repeat the same thing that the person before you said. If you could, or things that have already been said before, because earlier we already heard a lot of this on this item number 2. So we don't need to hear it again.
If you've already spoken on this item, there is no additional public comment. No, you spoke on this item originally.
But now the discussion is changed.
You've already spoken on this issue, sir. Thank you.
Comment online if there's nobody in the room, please.
I have a question.
Please hold the ones that are online. We're going to take in person first.
Hi, my name is Lavanya. I live in Mountain House. I have few questions here based on what I'm hearing. I'm hearing both. Of course, I hear the people who are opposing it, and of course, I oppose it too, because I didn't get answers to some of the questions. So everybody talked about crowded streets, especially during morning time when people are leaving Mountain House and entering Mountain House in the evening. It's already pretty crowded. I can tell my own personal example. To go to catch a flight, I started at 5:30 one day, and it took 45 minutes just to enter 580. I know it's that bad at 5:30 a.m. So with these many growing houses, why aren't they? I mean, whoever is proposing this, why aren't they talking about how are they going to address that situation? So there is just I have one more thing. So I came here to United States. One of the aspects that I expected was it's a land of justice. But last hearing I was here. This year I'm here. I'm only hearing yes or no. Everybody is saying yes, yes, no, no, 5-0, 4-0, 4-1, whatever it is. But can I request some justification? How your thought process? How you guys are saying yes or no? Because you're hearing both the sides. But it would really make us. I mean, we are not kids, right? We're adults. We'd like to hear what is the thought process, why it is being voted down. At least, I really appreciate if you can help us understand that, because otherwise I'm losing confidence in the system. Why are we coming here? If it feels like it's decided even before, and we're coming here and telling, and nobody is even listening to whatever we're telling.
Oh, we are listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Amit, and I'm a resident of Mountain House, moved like 2 years back in 2022. So based on the argument from the applicant, looks like there is an attempt to create a confusion here, referring to the plan that it is created in 1993, it is already approved. So what is the point here discussing all this thing? But 1993, I don't think anybody knew that the Mountain House is going to be a city. And he is referring again and again to the CSD, that it is already approved by CSD. After 2-3 months, there won't be any CSD. It is already decided that Mountain House is going to be a city. A lot of my fellow residents already made this argument that what is the rush going through all these multiple parcels of rezoning. Looks like it is season of rezoning, rush hour. I have been here like 2 weeks back on an other hearing. And just other fellow residents actually made this point. Looks like Planning Commission is so convinced with their argument. What we are seeing here is that even there are no counter questions here. Not a single question is being asked to the applicant on all our points that we are making here, that why there is a rush. And the other point I want to mention here is that the applicant is trying to confuse one other thing, is that there is no change, actually, that whatever is already approved is approved. These are the same lots. Those are already approved. But the difference here is that it is not approved for the residents here. That is making the difference. And when we take our talk in terms of like the context of the city, then the whole plan changes, actually. So we need to think about the city now, not from the CSD perspective or whatever CSD already did the assessment in last 3-4 years during the COVID time. That is not a valid assessment. A lot of other residents already made that point, so I don't need to repeat it again. So the point is, why there is a rush? Let's wait for the city to take the decision. Let's have residents their voice there, because even I was not part of any of these surveys that been done or presented, or city manager mentioned about 1,000 people. Definitely I'm not part of that. So looks like even if there was a survey done, it was not transparent to all, not inclusive at all. So that's not a valid survey from the resident point of view. So that is my submission, and I urge to Planning Commission to please be a little considerate on this one. Also take the voice from the residents and consider that, and maybe I don't think it is going to hurt anything, or sky is going to fall if it can go back to city, take the decision there itself with the voice of residents. That is my humble submission to Planning Commission. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Anyone else here in person that wishes to speak? And please do not repeat what we've already heard if you have new comments.
Yeah, I'll try to not repeat. I think there are so many constraints. My name is Harnad, and I'm also a Mountain House resident. This is my second time I'm coming, and I can tell you so many numbers, and like the way I did last time too, that why this rezoning and this rush is a bad idea, but I don't have any confidence in that. I don't have any confidence that any of you guys are going to listen to us. And I know you said like, we are listening. That's not listening for me. If any person, objectively, third person, who has no interest, if they had seen video of last time that happened 2 weeks back, if they will come to the same conclusion that this planning commission had come, I would agree wholeheartedly that, it's our mistake and we are super happy. I bet you, even any of you, go and read that entire session. And then you tell me that there is a really due process that is followed and all the people who came here to voice their opinion is being heard. I don't think so. And I really don't have any confidence today. The reason why I'm bringing this up is I have done so much study on why this is a bad idea. Like my people, other Mountain House residents too. We have done so much analysis. Probably at this point, even better than LUSD, better than even our city managers. The people who are supposed to represent us, right? They are always going in favor of our developers. Why is this? I just don't get it. I just simply don't get it. And last time, the only justification was given to is one of the planning members said, I have some experience. I have been part of this LUSD some time back. I'm not sure, sir. I think it must be you. And this is the reason why I think this is a good idea. Not schools. You guys are okay. And I think that's not fair. If it is only all decisions have been done by experienced people, then there is no point in having voting. There is just no point. It's almost like we vote, you decide. And that's what I heard. And it's just so painful. It's just so painful for us to be in this situation time and again. And I know where this is heading, which is why it's a deja vu for me. It's just deja vu for me again. I can definitely see it. The reason, then I realized, why is this way? None of the people, the Planning Commission Board, again, with all due respect to your all credentials, whatever the decision that you take, it's not going to impact you. It's just not going to impact you. The reason why it is, we all came here on a Thursday, right? After driving through, today I drove like 2 hours just for this. Just for this, 2 hours, right? Why I come here? Because this station is going to impact me and my fellow residents. That is the bottom line here. Again, I can give you so many examples on why LUS decisions is wrong and why these numbers are all wrong. But I know that one of you guys, even in the end, even I think Steve will say, I've been doing this for so long. If you've been doing this for so long, right, why we only have one high school, and then we end up having this high school and then part of high school someplace else? The planning sucked big time. Why don't we acknowledge that, right? There is no acknowledgement, nothing. Again, I'm not trying to be emotional here. I'm asking you, request is, please go and just go through that session. 30, 35 plus people, they just pour their hearts out, the reason why it's a bad idea, and then it passed 5-0. How can we trust the system? If you don't hear people, they're crying and they're just trying to understand, and you make decisions on your own, how can you sleep? How can we all sleep at night? How can we? It's just not fair. And I think my whole point here is, please make us believe that there is a process here, people who will listen to us. And again, you can just tell me that all of us that, this is a bad idea. Here is why. But we want to hear that here is why. Here is why you guys are all wrong. Please explain us, educate us. We'll happily go because we'll take defeat. It's okay. Because we believe in democracy, we know that there is a lot of other people, majority of the people think it's a bad idea and we are wrong. It's okay. Even if we are right, we tend to accept that our mistake. It's okay. But please explain us. That's all we are saying. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? We'll go to online. Is there anyone online that wishes to speak against the motion?
I just wanted to ask a question from what the Trimark developer said. If this is Coral, can I go ahead and speak?
Ms. Coral, I believe you've already spoken on this item. You only get to speak once on an item for public comment.
Yeah, but this is based on what Trimark told us, what the gentleman told us. I just have a question.
Ma'am, you've already spoken on this item for public comment.
Yeah, this is Sudhir here. If I may, I have not spoken yet.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I had like a few comments from what was being presented earlier, right? So I heard a comment saying that if we leave the lots open, the commercial space is like not going to be filled up and all that, right? Won't ever be filled if you rezone it to a residential area, right? Then it will never be filled. You don't know if you leave it like it's a thriving city, like businesses will come, right? But if you don't leave any space for the businesses to come and establish, it is not going to happen. Number one, right? I'll not touch upon the traffic because a lot of people have spoken in detail about that. But schools, right? I've moved recently to Mountain House, and the first thing that I see when I try to register my kids to schools is a bold message on their website, on the LUSD website. You can check it, that our schools are at capacity, so you may not get your homeschool, right? And my kids, they're not even in their homeschools yet, right? I'm waiting for them to get their homeschools, right? They're already over capacity, and we're kind of bringing in more residents without having the infra to support it, right? I heard like the gentleman say that the city was planned and the infra was to support these additional houses as well. We're not able to support the existing people that are already here. How are you going to justify adding more people without adding more infra, right? So that's my kind of take on
Thank
it.
you.
And I
Thank you.
propose it.
Is there anyone else online who wishes to speak?
Hi,
Yes,
this is.
Go ahead, please.
Hi, this is Rajesh. I second to what just one of the fellow just said. Right, I don't want to repeat the stuff, but I had the same concern that if you look at the other cities like Pleasanton, Fremont, they have a lot of real estate, a lot of commercial spaces where the startups comes, where other Walmarts and stuff like come. So I really oppose this point to rezone and have more houses. I would definitely have more of commercial spaces here than a house.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak? Online?
Hi, this is Naveen from Mountain House. I'm a resident of Mountain House. I'm a resident of Mountain House since last 5 years, and yeah, I would not like to repeat, as you guys have been calling, not to repeat the same point, but I would like to second the issues around traffic and the schools. But when I bought the house, we looked at the master plan, and then we have committed ourselves, saying that we have bought this house out here because there's going to be a commercial, and there are going to be schools out here, right? And now all of a sudden, the rezoning happening at this point in time, we feel like this is something not this is actually happening on in favor of the builder. At that point in time, he showed something, the entire plan was shown, and then sold the houses. As and when the people have bought the houses thinking that there's going to be a commercial close by, now it is getting rezoned. I felt cheated personally because I bought the house looking at the master plan. Now the master plan is getting rezoned. I feel cheated. That's what I would like to say.
Thank you. Anyone else that has anything different to say or anything to add? online.
My name is Thadi Pali from resident of Mountain House. I would like to say that the kids who are passing out of this particular school district are going to look differently. Where are they going to practice their jobs? You need more commercial places. You are actually forcing people to leave the place rather than looking forward. There's more commercial, more things that are in the Mountain House. Residents get to stay, develop this city to a world-class city. It cannot be a bed city, right? It can't be a sleeping community. We need to have more commercial in our city. Please don't rezone. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that has something different to add?
Hey, I would like to
online. Yes.
Yes, I would like to say this is I'm Anuj Lada. I just spoke a little earlier in the call today. I'm a resident of Mountain House. I've been here for 1.5 years, and I can just say to what the former two speakers and all my fellow residents have said. It seems kind of rather counterintuitive that if you want to progress a community at large, why would you not build commercial spaces to begin with? Yes, it's nice to have houses. You fulfill the American dream. You buy a home for your wife, for your family, your kids, and your loved ones. But at the end of the day, we've moved here for the progression of our kids, right? We also, as adults, but our kids come first. You want to build a better tomorrow with brighter, more educated children, and if you want to be able to do that objective, you're going to have to build commercial places. There's no choice, and by having commercial landscape, people get to learn, share information with each other, and it forces people to come out, especially when the weather is not so great and you get to have, indoor events commercially. So, there should be no pressure whatsoever on the schools and residents to second think, oh, why did I come here 5 years ago? Why did I come here 2 years ago? Really, you guys have to this is not a good decision to go with zoning, especially at a time when there are things that have happened, electoral elections with a mayor getting elected. And, if you want to build Mountain House to be a world-class city, like the former resident said, please, it's not going to help to just jam pack, a community with just houses. That's kind of going against the objective. It's not going to be progressive enough. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would have something different to add?
Hello, this is Amit. I'm a Mountain House resident from the last 4 years. I drive almost 12 hours on commute to office 4 times in a week. Apart from that, even for my kids' classes, their extracurricular, I drive kind of 30 minutes down to Dublin and 30 minutes back. It's like 1 hour for one class. So I pretty much spend 7-8 hours extra on traffic just to commute to nearby cities to get kids to classes. So that is something really. When we moved here, we always thought this is going to be better a city in future. So really look for not for us, but at least for our kids, our children, for the future, to have more supporting opportunities here in the city.
Thank you. Anyone that has something different to add?
Yeah, this is Jeevan, a Mountain House resident. We already have a big development happening across Byron. I'm assuming there's going to be like thousands of houses going to be built there. I don't know why do they need more to be added? Because we're already adding a lot of houses. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with anything different to add?
This is I'm a Mountain House resident since 2015. So this, with all the new developments that are already planned, by putting more houses in the existing villages, they are being deprived of any commercial space that's closer home. Now they have to drive outside of their village to do any kind of shopping. Whereas, that's the whole idea, looking at the master plan, they thought, they're going to get some commercial space, and that's how they invested in those houses. And now it's kind of
we are denying that opportunity for them to have commercial space within Costa, within the other rezoning area. So then they have to drive more to get their commercial activity done versus the other places where, you know, they're going to be closer to home for them. So I strongly oppose this.
Thank you. Anyone else with anything different to add?
Yeah, well, hey, my name is Merlin. I am in Mountain House since 2 years. I think one of the comments related to work from home. I work from home, but my employer has asked me to commute. I have to commute 3 times a week soon, every week. And the reason I'm saying this is, as times have changed. During COVID, it was completely work from home, and we are switching to a model where it is 3 times a week. Soon it'll be 5 times a week. So I think, rather than rushing, we just need to give a little bit of time before rezoning happens so that we can wait and assess to see if this is the right decision. For now, I'm working from home. 3 months down the lane, I'm going to be commuting. Same with many folks that I work with as well. So situations are changing, and we just need to give it a little bit more time before we decide on something that cannot be reversed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Javi. I'm a resident in Mountain House. I live in Richmond. So I have a point to put here. So daily I'm commuting to Bay Area from here. So weekly 3 days we are going to office. From the past 2 years I'm doing it. So there is a lot of traffic in the 2 stop signals when we are exiting from the Mountain House. So it's getting very difficult for us to manage our family as well as our work-life balance. So can we have some shuttle service kind of thing from here to Vasco or Tracy Station? At the same time, is there a way to have some air station stop, Mountain House? Can we plan something like that so which will add more value to our existing home residents here? Then something planned like this, adding more houses will make sense. Already existing people are suffering it, and adding this more extra homes will add more crowded and more traffic. But it creates more problems basically instead of solving the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, this is hello. This is TJ Ratan, and I think people have spoken. So we would like the county to please defer the decision of zoning and rezoning to our city council to make our own decisions. I do have an understanding that we are still under the county, but please, as you can see, a lot of the folks are coming together, and it's that one voice which is resonating over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, hi. My name is Akshay, and I wanted to understand the process. When you are hearing all this, when you are going for this hearing, is the decision already made, or is it a forum to actually hear it and then take a decision based on that?
No, the decision hasn't already been made. That's what we're doing now.
Okay. And you will be telling again, there was one of the person already mentioned that you will be telling why you voted yes, right? Yes or no, whatever your decision is, are you going to explain why you are voting yes or no? Otherwise,
We'll try.
What?
No. No.
You will not. Okay. I want to just.
Yes, we will try to explain.
Okay, if you're explaining, then it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, this is Naren from Mountain House. So I think most of this decision seems to be based on that survey. Can we request them to resend the survey and postpone this decision by a month at least? We wanted to really see that survey, the survey that no one got, but everything is based on.
We have already voted on that, and now we're on item number 2. So are you speaking to item number? We just want comments on item number 2, the rezoning. Who? Someone is trying to speak. Go ahead.
My name is Igor Kiselev. So I would like to talk about Area 1. Area 1 is located on a big mountain house parkway corridor that was originally reserved for commercial and industrial development. Commercial and industrial development usually delay from a residential development. We just get to a point where some commercial development is starting appearing in Mountain House here and there, and a lot of it is around Mountain House Parkway. And that Area 1 will break that big corridor into parts.
We're having difficulty hearing you. He already spoke.
Yes, that commercial development.
Yes. You spoke. We already heard from you, but thank you.
No, you heard from me only about item number 1. I have not talked anything about item number 2.
He's correct. Continue, sir, with your public comment.
Okay, thank you. That development will break that corridor into 2 parts and will affect future development of entire corridor. I think that decision of rezoning that Area 1 is preliminary right now, and if it is possible, if it still would be approved, or if it will be approved, I'd like to ask reserve at least some land on a border, just before a border of Mountain House Parkway, to allow future continuous development as a industrial, commercial, or be rezoned as a residential in future if it would be not required by others. At the same time, I would say that I support Area 2 development because it would allow us to develop roads in a city center area that is really great for a community without waiting 20 years more before some commercial development will appear there. Thank you a lot. That's all my.
Thank you. Anyone else online? Okay, hearing none, then we have.
Sorry, we online.
There's one more person?
Yes, good evening.
Yes, after this.
This is Matthew Ernest, also known as president of the board, Matt Disco. I've been on the board 1 week shy of 16 months. Aside from the public filing for this is news to me, aside from what has been presented to you. On behalf of myself and probably fellow board members, we are not fully versed on the pretense of how this has come to be. A month ago, regardless of what happened in 93 or what was zoned, in 2024, a month ago, 90% of our residents asked for us to rein power on decisions like these at a city level. I respect your position at a county level. Clearly, residents have spoken. Please take into consideration for what they have spoken. Also analyze that against the data that's been presented. I appreciate those who have presented this data, done the inquiry, updated the numbers from 20 years ago. But I feel like the residents do ask that this be held for future decision from local civic control. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll have a short rebuttal.
Thank you. I will be trying to be very short because it's been very long. Number one, the opponents indicate they do not want more houses. I would just indicate to you these are not more houses. These are houses that have been planned since 1993, and they're part of the design of the master plan, part of the design of the infrastructure. And I would point out that with respect to the commercial part, COSMET did a comprehensive study, determined there was too much commercial and retail, it would not build out, and they suggested less. And you remember that Mr. Anderson presented you with a chart that showed there is still vacant land for commercial and retail, but it is aligned with the commercial reality right now. And as the CSD has indicated to me, They want this land developed so they can get the taxes off of it. They're not going to get the taxes if it stays commercial or industrial, commercial or resident or retail. If it goes residential, they're going to get the taxes on it. And in fact, that was one of the predicates for the fiscal ability of this city to exist when those studies were done. EPS independently looked at that for the county and came to the same conclusion. So we're right-sizing the zoning in this property given the current circumstances. As to the rush to judgment, I respectfully indicate, as Mr. Anderson pointed out in his staff report, these applications were filed a year and a half ago. This has not been something that's been rushed through by anyone. It's been an extraordinarily deliberative process. It's very, very rare for a tentative map to take a year and a half to go from being filed to be heard by the Planning Commission. This is a long time, not a short time. There's no rush to judgment. As to you being asked to explain your decision, I would point out to you in your staff report there are comprehensive findings. Those findings express the reason for approving this. Your staff carefully prepared those, and you can adopt those findings as your own, and that gives more than a sufficient reason to anyone who wants to look at this as why you made that decision. They are good findings, they are comprehensive, and they explain the reason for the decision. And certainly I believe a decision should be made consistently with the ones you did 2 weeks ago, with Sandu and with Camilos, where they were creating new lots, where here we're not creating new lots at all, but simply making use of the lots that were originally authorized under the plan. So unless there are any questions, I thank you very much for your time tonight.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You're saying that they're not adding any lots, but just for clarification, you're just putting them in different places.
We're moving them around within the plan. The density of housing does not change. When we did our old subdivisions, we did larger lots, and we had a surplus of about 350 lots, and now we're assigning those extra 335 lots we did not use in the previous subdivisions to these 3 areas.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a quick question. Could you reiterate once again, a business will go to a location if there is a need for their business, right?
At the end of the day, capital is fungible. Capital is going to go where capital thinks it can make money. And the mere fact that we zone property a certain way doesn't mean it's going to get built. The city of Stockton did that very early in the 80s when I was first practicing. The planning director believed that if they zoned land apartments would be built. But then in 86, the Tax Act ended all the depreciation for apartments. And guess what happened? We had all this apartment land zoned, and no one would build on it because you couldn't make money on it because the double depreciation went away in the 86 Tax Act. Right. So economic reality controls what gets built, not simply by having a naked designation on a piece of property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Oh, I'm sorry, it's closed. It's, should I let it speak? All right, go ahead.
Thank you. One comment, he said, we need houses. They definitely needed houses. I agree with you. But at the same time, the present experience of the residents is wherever we go, like for example, like sports academies or some mass institution, I need to travel up to the Dublin or Tracy or somewhere. So if I ask, for example, Mylapore, I asked them, why don't you open a restaurant in the Mountain House? They said there is no commercial space. Whereas here in one way, we are we are converting the commercial space into residential, whereas we are hearing the different feedback from different vendors. There are players, they want to come to the Mountain House, but definitely there is no space at all right now. That is one comment. Second comment, so he was waiting for 18 months. I agree, I'm sorry for that. Why can't he wait for 2 more months so that city can decide as a first item to take the decision on that? I duly respect your panel, and we already spent a lot of time, and I want you guys consider, please, give us 2 more months so that we can take a collective decisions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the hearing is closed. Comments?
Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Hi, this is Commissioner Sang. I'm attending remotely, but I'm listening to everything very carefully. I want to say this on the record that we hear everyone very attentively what they have to say. So no decision is being made in advance. The decisions are made, and I'm sure I can speak on the behalf of the whole commission as we go through this, because that's the whole reason for the Planning Commission meeting. That being said, I don't live in Mountain House. I had said that before, but I have watched Mountain House since 1999 when I came to Tracy. I understand and agree with Mr. Haycom, I think. I'm sorry, I don't want to say that. Steve Harum, that this, what we're talking about, was talked about in 1993, more than 30 years ago. I would like to say a few things. Like I said, I'm from Tracy. I'm a very proud resident of Tracy, and I would love to take the tax dollars from Mountain House on a personal level. But what I'm trying to say here is Mountain House is growing. And when they're saying the tax dollars cannot come from the commercial and the retail, I respectfully disagree. It took them more than 10 years to bring Safeway there. And the Safeway is very well built with a really nice gas station and a small shopping center around it, with few restaurants and few other places where the families can hang around and have a good time. Just recently, last month, and I don't know if everybody can hear me very clearly, there was a small shop of Haagen-Dazs that just opened there. It's an ice cream shop. It was so busy, people were standing there till late night just to get that ice cream. So there's a demand for the commercial. There's a demand for stuff that kids can go out and do with their parents, the young adults can do with their parents, with the families. The location where we are talking about this particular residential allotments, where we are moving things around so residential plots can come there, those are pretty much number 1 and number 3 are close to the exit and entry points into Mountain House. I want to assure the people of Mountain House that are sitting there and listening to me that I did spend time. No, I don't live there, but I did spend time to understand what's going on with this particular item. And the traffic is getting a little bit more hectic than what it was 2 years ago, because at that time, more people were working from home in 2021, beginning of 2022, than what's happening in end of 2023 and beginning of 2024, because folks have started commuting back to the Bay Area. Most of the people, just to come to Costco, come to Tracy. When they have to come to any other, like Macy's, Target, they come to Tracy. We don't have the best mall. A lot of the malls are dying. I understand that. We are getting out of the mall system. But still, all they have in Mountain House right now is Safeway, which is a grocery store with gas station, with a Starbucks around there, few restaurants, now that they have a Haagen-Dazs there, and that's about it. They have beautiful master plan. They have good parks. Their schools are known for their academic performance. But at the same time, there are some things, because that's becoming a city, they need to have their own places to shop, to sit around, to have fun, to be family oriented. And one of the things that Tracy is overwhelmed with right now is our hospital. Tracy grew pretty fast in the last couple decades. We have Sutter Community Hospital, which is not even big enough for Tracy by itself. Just a suggestion. I'm not saying, nobody has to follow it, but pretty soon, hopefully everybody's healthy, everybody stays healthy, that's all good. But that city will need their own infrastructure, which will include some kind of, shopping center, more than just Safeway, and also something like a hospital. These points where we are talking about this thing, it's going to become bottleneck. If you go to Mountain House in the morning between 6:30, say 7:30, just to get to the Altamont, the traffic is literally standing there. Same thing with Tracy. There is traffic everywhere. It didn't used to be that bad on the weekends. Now it's pretty bad on the weekends, because since there's nothing to do in Mountain House, sorry if I'm offending anyone, but there's literally nothing to do except getting groceries from Safeway and getting some gas and going and having your latte or mochas at Starbucks in the mornings. People are taking their kids to do extracurricular activities over to the hill, to Dublin, Pleasanton, Livermore, or they come to Tracy. They're welcome to come to Tracy. Like I said, we love their tax dollars, but since they're going to become their city, that's the sales tax dollars can bring in enough money when we say that it's only homes that will bring the tax money in. Again, I would like to let the residents know that we do listen to you. It's not that we don't listen to you. Item number 1 came back to us from the Board of Supervisors. That was a consent item. That's what one of my fellow commissioners were saying. We never had public comment on a consent item. For some reason, somehow it happened, so be it. We listen to you, and we never ever have our minds made up just because, we say that, okay, this is what I personally think. If it was personally to me, I would love to have you guys come and spend all your tax dollars in Tracy. That's not how it works. We want you to take care of your own city. We want you to have good times in your own city. So since it's, we're done with the discussion and the public comment is closed, my vote will be a no on this. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? No?
Yeah, I'm going to say something.
Yes, that's okay.
And it probably would. I commend Commissioner Segal for her comments. She said most of the things that I was thinking as well. But I also would like to say to those here and those listening online that we were appointed with our desire to serve. And on this commission, our job is to review all the facts. We read these packets when they come over to us. And we have disagreed with staff's recommendations, and we've agreed with them. And our job is to say, whoever the applicant is, are they following all the directives? Are they doing all the things that they're supposed to do when you submit to the commission? Because the commission, in essence, what we're doing is we're saying, yes, they've done that. We either approve or we disapprove. You have a right, if we disapprove, to appeal it to the Board of Supervisors. The Board of Supervisors will have the final say on what we either vote for or vote against. That's how this works. Do we all have different experiences? We certainly do. And again, I heard about the schools, and I think someone mentioned that we never tell you why we're voting for something one way or the other. And I made the point at the last meeting that when it comes to schools, we don't have any say. You should be going to the board meetings of Lambertville School District and telling the superintendent, this is what we want. This is what our tax dollars should be going to. We want more schools. We don't have a say on that. And so everybody who's here tonight and on the team's meeting, you're pretty vocal. And I think we all know what you're waiting for is when you're a city here come July 1st. But we have to deal with what's presented to us tonight. We can't just kick the can down the road. And we'll let your city council and your city planning commission deal with the future of your city. But you're still part of the county. And it's our decision that we have to make tonight. And so
Wait for 2 more months.
that's not the point, sir. You're still part of the county. You're not an incorporated city yet. So I will be voting for yes.
Anyone else? Would you like to say anything? I would like to say that we do listen. We don't decide before we come. We get the packets and we look at the findings and we read through it, and we do care. That's why we have volunteered and taken this position. So we have to look at all the facts, and when we listen to you, I do sympathize. I feel like you are going to be a city soon. I can see why you would want to make your own decision. We have the facts that we have in front of us show that they have met all the criteria, but I do see that you're going to be a city so soon, so I would be voting against. But I think we're ready to take a vote. We have a motion? No?
I'd like to make a motion to accept item number 2, general plan amendment, PA 230052, master plan amendment, PA 230050, specific plan amendment, PA 230051, and zoning reclassifications, PA 230053, PA 230055, and PA 230056, and PA 230057, along with the 7 recommendations that were submitted to us by staff. And this would be forwarded to the Board of Supervisors to make the final decision.
Do I have a second? With no second, the motion does not carry. So motion does not pass.
Will we have a different motion to deny?
Oh. Do I have a motion to deny?
I'll make the motion to deny.
I'll second it. Vote?
All right. Commissioner Sangha?
No. I mean, yes, deny, but no to the original.
Commissioner Riestaller?
No.
Commissioner Milas?
Yes.
Commissioner Midgley?
Yes. So the motion is denied. Thank you for coming. Other business? Director's report? No?
Thank you. Commissioner Midgley, I just wanted to let you know that the owner-operator truck parking that was denied at the last Planning Commission meeting was appealed, so that will be scheduled for a Board of Supervisors meeting coming up. So I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Okay.
And then I'll go ahead and go over the upcoming meetings, if you don't mind. So for the April 18th Planning Commission meeting, we have 4 items on that agenda right now. The first one is the General Plan Annual Progress Report and Housing Element Annual Progress Reports for 2023. Those are state requirements for planning staff to update you on those items. So you'll be seeing those. Then we have 2 Mountain House items. One is a staff-initiated sign ordinance to make some updates to the Mountain House part of the development title related to signs. It would be adding that in, actually, I'm sorry, specific to Mountain House. And then the second Mountain House item is a development agreement to extend the life of some major subdivision applications in Mountain House. And then the last item on the 418 agenda is a general plan text amendment, map amendment, and that would be to make changes to 4 sections of the general plan related to services and infrastructure for the CR Commercial Recreation General Plan. designation and IW warehouse industrial zone. And then also related to Williamson Act contract sizes. And then part of that application also includes a general plan map amendment for a single parcel. So you'll be seeing that come through. On the May 2nd Planning Commission meeting, we have 2 items for that, and they are both involve a general plan map amendment and zone reclassification. The first item also has an administrative use permit for a multi-unit residential project. And the second item, the underlying project, is a rural residential subdivision. And then for the second meeting in May 16th, we don't currently have any items scheduled on that date.
Okay, thank you. No other matters, nothing else? Meeting adjourned.
That wasn't tough.